Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here. This time we're reviewing on Ultimate Spider-Man, Death of a Goblin, Volume 19, graphic novel review. Now, as you know, Ultimate Spider-Man is set in the Ultimate Universe, where the Ultimate Universe is a much darker timeline with some new differences. So the cover you have Spider-Man looking on, while the Green Goblin also leaps into action. So, the story starts off mostly like your typical story. It starts off how the ultimate version of Shocker is saying, "Drive faster, please!" "You know what? Go to hell, Shocker!" And so he starts blasting away until Spider-Man says, but mine's a big toe." "Holy!" And yeah, Spider-Man realizes the situation in hand. And just as some police officers have presumably got killed, Spider-Man manages to stop the cars from crashing anymore, saying, "Sorry, that was kind of my fault." And so Shocker's knocked out and says, oh man, should have killed the Shocker and taken the costume." Yeah, that could have worked had it been Homecoming. So you've got the Ultimate version of Kitty Pryde, and I do admit I like her costume. It kind of looks like something I would see in the X-Men comics, and given the fact this was a time when Kitty Pryde left the Ultimate X-Men and is now in school. So it does kind of bring up a lot of problems for Peter as well as Kitty Pryde, given the fact they both used to have feelings. And sometimes with a relationship, if someone goes to your school workplace, it will cause trouble. And like, Kitty, hey, Kitty, thanks. But what did you just do there? So, given the fact that Kitty Pryde's power is to phase through like anything electronical, which causes it to short circuit, so both of them leave quickly. And just then, we see the Ultimate version of Mary Jane as the Ultimate version of the Demon Goblin. They're like, "MJ, please!" So just then, MJ wakes up, and this is kind of like me when I was in college, given the fact I do have a sleep pattern problem. It's like, "Miss Watson, huh? Miss Watson, sleep at home. As I was saying, this project is not like any other." And she points out and seeing Peter there and asking like, class was 15 minutes ago. So Peter has to try and give the whole kind of, I was in the bathroom stick. So both of them show up at the same time, and all the students are like, "Oh, look who's coming into class together. Love exactly in you." And so you got the teacher saying, "Stop it." And so turns out that it's kind of this whole thing with the whole baby dolls thing at school. I never went through this as a kid, and I doubt I would have passed. So it's kind of this thing where it trusts, the students to be responsible with a toy as well with a baby. So Peter is given, the doll, but given the fact he's Spider-Man, this will cause some problems. So meanwhile, at the Triskelion, the Ultimate version of Carol Danvers is now in control, and Norman Osborn wants to speak to Nick Fury. And he's like, "Norman Osborn, who are you?" "I'm Captain Carol Danvers. What can I do for you?" "I want to talk to Fury. Fury's not here. What can I do for you?" "Where is he?" "Not here." And now, given the fact that in the Ultimate Universe, Norman Osborn is the Green Goblin, and due to messing with his genetics, he's now in the Triskelion with other dangerous mutant criminals and people who mess with their DNA. So both Carol and Norman get into an argument with each other, and just as he goes, "Woman," Carol says, "Yeah?" And I like how she goes, "Ooh," like saying, "Oh, I'm real scared." So Norman looks on in his cell, just quiet to himself, and says to up the medical dose. So meanwhile, Peter tries to talk with MJ, saying, "This is a nightmare. MJ, how am I supposed to carry a baby around all day? I have powers and responsibility." Now, given the fact Peter is Spider-Man, if people see him with a baby doll, then they're gonna put two to two together. So given the fact Kitty Pryde's here, this is going to cause MJ more hassle. And just as, Flash is being a bit of a racist dick, we see Kenny Khan knocking down Flash, and this is mostly where, where one time where a student was being racist to a student, I was kind of like this, saying, "Dude, apologize. Say you're sorry." What? Okay. Just sick of your racist, man. And this is kind of like me when a student was being racist to a Chinese student. I pretty much went in and, talked and saying that, you shouldn't be acting like that. And this is actually a moment where we see Kenny, trying to show that, not all mutants are bad. And it shows that, there's going to be a bit of a relationship going there. So this kind of saves Peter a lot of trouble with the whole MJ Kitty Pryde thing. So, meanwhile, at the Triskelion, Carol Danvers and S.H.I.E.L.D. are going through the list of how many, criminals, murderers, psychopaths, and people who've messed with the genetics. So just then, one of them points out that Norman Osborn's cell's camera's not responding. Just then, a big explosion happens, where Norman Osborn is talking to himself, and where he slowly becomes the Green Goblin again. And then ends up burning his cell room with a big explosion. You're like, this is sub-basement. We have, somebody get down here with... And so Norman Osborn shows up with all the other people, and just then we see Otto Octavius. Now, given the fact that now Otto Octavius is more of an anti-hero, and more not being controlled by the harness, saying, "Norman, you look well." So they both get into an argument saying, "Just so you know, I gave you to the feds, Norman. I sold you out the first chance I got. Can you hear me in there?" So he also remembers that during the whole events of Ultimate 6, how they took on the White House. So Norman Osborn crushes down Otto Octavius' is new metal harnesses. Now, given the fact that Otto Octavius also has the power to use metal around his area to make new harnesses, so he follows these fireballs and says, "Norman, no, now stop that! Aren't you at all impressed with my signature evolution?" And so, just as he knocks him down, Omni Electro fries him, and he's like, "Hey, Norman, that you in there? What's the plan?" And so he mainly takes off and even talks about how they, took down the White House together. So Norman Osborn breaks through, leaving a trail of destruction in his path, hides under the water, and jumps up in time, fires 2 fireballs that shield the ship, but Norman also gets on one saying, "We're under attack! Repeat, we are under hostile!" And so Norman flies the airplane, and crashes it right into the harbour, no doubtly killing the workers there. So they try and look around the area to see if no one's around, but no one else won't turn back to normal to hide under his roof. So meanwhile, Norman Osborn's old lawyer is, talking to one of his girlfriends, and just then Norman Osborn shows up saying, "Joseph? Norman? Where's my money that you hid away for me in case of a rainy day? Because it is a rainy day. I'm borrowing some clothes." "Norman, you're a fugitive. I can't have you here." "A fugitive for what, Justice? I'll get dispelled." So he asks him to set him up a meeting with the kind of news crew in that. So meanwhile on the news, we see Captain America has taken down the Vulture, and we're having a private interview with Norman Osborn, where Carol Danvers and that look on and think, "Oh, give me sound." So Norman Osborn tries to play victim, and tries to justify his actions, that he was held against his will, and that he did nothing wrong. So just then, Peter and MJ are getting ice cream, and talking in that, until they see Norman Osborn on TV, and this is like where you see someone from your past being shown, and I love the look on their faces thinking, Oh crap, he's back. Now, I'm gonna have to end it here, so like, comment, and subscribe. Comic Reviewer here, signing out.